Welcome everyone to CYCU Live Chat. I'm Avi, and today's episode is all about discovering what makes our university's finance and management program unique. So every semester, new students join with hopes and curiosity, and often with a little nervousness too. What's waiting inside the classroom? How will this course really shape their futures?
Yeah, I'm Lucy Avi.
Mhm.
You are hit the nail on the head. That feeling of anticipation is familiar to every student. When I first joined CYCU, I wonder how theory have a heavy course like finance and management could ever connect to real life. But through interviews, lectures, and so many informal chats in the corridors and cafe, I realized our professor believe that education is more than the grades. It's about preparing us for every business challenge and ethical dilemma and we will face long after graduation.
Yeah, that's the spirit we want to capture today. Our professor don't just give us textbooks, they share stories from their own career, global perspective, and the kind of lesson you cannot find online. We will be giving you an insider look into teaching moments, classroom innovation, and things students like us never forget.
Yeah, and let's not forget the lighter moment, like the excitement of group project wins, the inevitable panic before midterm, or the unexpected friendship you make while studying late at the library. Today, you will hear about all of that, how teaching and student experience as CYCU form an ecosystem where everyone grows.
So stay with us as we map out the journey, lesson with world-class professor, hands-on projects, competition highlights, and that all-important search for personal meaning in the world of finance and management.
Yeah, to kick off, let's dive into the finance program here. If you told me a couple of years ago that I would enjoy analyzing cash flow and calculating risk, I could have laughed. But CYCU that changed mainly because of how deeply our professor care about context.
Same here. It's not uncommon to walk into Professor Chen class and find a headline about global markets on the projector. One day, he opened with a story about a struggling small business in Taipei and turned into a lesson on working capital management. Suddenly, the formulas in our textbooks became tools for saving real jobs.
Yeah, and remember his mid-semester assignment, Avi?
Yeah.
He divided us into teams, each representing a company on the brink of a financial decision. Should we invest, borrow, or partner off? Each decision forced us to run calculation, yes, but also debate the ethical and long-term impacts. I discovered how finance is not just about number, but about responsibility for people, livelihood.
That assignment kept popping up in our student group chats for weeks. My team disagreed on risk tolerance. Half of us wanted aggressive investment. The other half said, let's play it safe. What made it memorable was how Chen encouraged us to negotiate and defend our position, just like a real boardroom.
Yeah, what's also unique is how Professor like Lin Professor Yu local business case. He once hand out a financial statement from a well-known Taoyuan electronic company and asked us to spot red flag in their debt structure. It felt like being detective in a corporate thriller.
Yeah, plus he would walk around listening to each team argument, occasionally introducing new information like a sudden market downturn or competitor entry. It was a test of adaptability as much as technical knowledge.
Yeah, and Professor Huang, behavioral finance course injected so much life into our perception of the rational investor. He would show us the headline from financial news, friends like Bitcoin rallies, sudden market panic, and break down the psychology bias at play. I remember laughing when we realized how easily we fallen for hot hand fallacy in our mock portfolio.
Yeah, that was humbling. Professor Wang's best lesson was learn to spot your own blind spot. He wasn't shy about discussing his investment mistakes,
Yes.
showing us that expertise means constant learning, not perfection.
Yes, I also appreciate the cross-list ESG finance seminar. Professors collaborate to give us a holistic view how return on investment now means measuring impact on environment and community, not just shareholders.
Yeah, every presentation included a debate about the gray areas, like whether to invest in companies with strong profits but poor environmental practice. It was real preparation for difficult calls we will have to make as professional.
And Avi, do you remember the day Professor Chen did that? Finance speed dating exercise?
Yeah.
Instead of lecture, we rotate table, tackling new mini case every 5 minutes. Talk about adrenaline.
Yeah, how could I forget? I was
Huh.
still catching my breath at the next class, but it trained us to think on our feet, condensing complex problems and communicating clearly under pressure, which is a big part of the finance world.
Yeah, there were even moments of comedic relief, like when someone tried to pitch Dogecoin as a retirement plan. Professor Chen's face was priceless, but he used the moment to discuss speculative bubbles, risk management, and why faith can blind even the smartest investors.
Yeah, we all learn a lot, especially not to take shortcuts. The professor used humor and self-depreciation to keep the atmosphere light, but the message always hits home. And switching gears, management at CYCU is an experience in itself. Nobody expects a dry, theoretical class. Our professor mixed framework with personality. Professor Liu, for instance, is legendary for her leadership boot camps. No PowerPoint, just activities that get us talking and thinking.
Right. She once asked us to form team and build Marshmallow Tower. At first it felt silly, but then the lesson clicked. Communication breakdowns, role assignment, even unspoken power dynamic. Afterwards, she helped us to connect this more frustration to real workplace dynamics.
Yeah, Professor Liu also invite professionals to share management stories. One time, a family business owner discussed succession planning and described how personal relationship shaped the transition strategy.
Yeah, and we cannot forget Professor Ho. His class on change management sometimes felt more like a therapy sessions. He shared personal story about advising companies through tough transformation and even his own values.
Yeah, I remember him saying a great manager isn't someone who avoid problem, but one who face them head on and listen with humility. He often brought in real world framework like Kotter, 8-step change model, and let us use them to solve campus problem. We analyze issues like online class transition during the pandemic and propose ways to boost student engagement.
Yeah, on highlight was when he asked us to simulate a merge between two student clubs. Suddenly, it was not theory; it was negotiation, compromise, and reconciling cultural difference.
Yeah, Professor Chang in International Management is all about globalization. She would pepper class with example of Taiwanese companies going global, their logistical headache, language barrier, and the creativity they used to build international partnership.
I also remember Professor Chang once invited a senior executive from Taiwanese tech firm who shared story about adapting business etiquette in Japan and negotiating with partner in Europe. Those sessions made a rely across cultural competence were vital for any aspiring manager.
Yeah, the variety of management teaching here, from role play to alumni talks, and then show us the power of adaptability. There is no one size fits all. You have to learn, reflect, and adjust on the fly.
Oh, Avi, let's talk about our friend May's story from Professor Liu class. She came in shy and hesitant to speak. Do you remember? But after a semester of group leadership exercise, she ended up running for student council.
Yeah. My journey was inspiring. It showed how the right environment makes people stronger, from learning to speak up to handling disagreement productively.
Yeah, we could see this transformation in many classmates.
Mhm.
For example, after a semester struggling with communication breakdown in our consulting simulation, we actually start using Professor Liu feedback framework during real club meeting.
Yeah, and we will never forget the culture in a book. Assignment in Professor Chang course, students would fill a shoebox with objects that represented their culture or family business background, then present why those matter. It was vulnerable, sometimes funny, and always illuminating.
Yeah, the camaraderie built in the whole class extended beyond. Long after final grades, people stay in touch, forming project team for national competition and even entrepreneurial ventures. Also, learning is active here. One thing I love is how assignments don't end when you hand them in. Professors encourage us to share our findings with peers, present a student conference, and even publish simplified case study in campus newsletter.
Yeah, there is a real emphasis on collaboration. Group projects are more like real consulting gigs than classroom exercise. We have tackled everything from market expansion plan for a startup to sustainability assessment for local NGOs.
Yeah, and remember that time we compete in the University Finance Challenge? The prompt was to analyze a public company and present its future value to a panel of industry experts. We spent days researching, rehearsing our argument, and grilling each other with tough questions.
Yeah, I recall the adrenaline of the Q&A session. One judge asked about our assumption on currency risk. It felt like a miniature boardroom. Win or lose, everyone walked out feeling more confident and aware of our strength and growth point.
Yeah, the competition trigger creativity too. Some team present using skits, others using data visualization or storytelling technique we learn in Professor Hall as management communication class.
Yeah, internships are another core part of the experience. Professor regularly connects students with opportunities at accounting firm, financial consultancies, and local business, where we get to apply class lesson under real workplace pressure.
And feedback is not just about fixing mistakes, but celebrating progress. I got my first internship thanks to recommendation from Professor Lin based on a project presentation then went well. Um, that small confidence boost made a huge difference in my outlook.
Yeah, CYSU professor also organized networking mixer where alumni return to offer career advice and update us on industry trend. Hearing from graduates who are now finance manager or entrepreneurs is motivating. They reassure us that the path from theory to practical is real.
Yeah, there is a big focus on lifelong learning. The message business evolve fast, but curiosity, adaptability, and ethics will always provide an edge.
Yeah, Lucy, if you had to name one face palm
Huh?
moment from all our group project, what would it be?
Oh, that's easy. Remember when we mixed up revenue and profit in our pitch to the instructor?
Mhm.
The artwork silence were brutal, but
Mhm.
Professor Ho just smiled and said, "It takes courage to make mistake in public."
Yeah, that's a classic, but it taught us humility, and that business isn't about never failing. It's about owning up and moving forward.
Yeah, those movements stick with us more than perfect test score. They remind us to be honest, adaptable, and quick to learn. Plus, they grace for an occasional laugh.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning how welcoming the community is here. Whenever someone falls behind, there is always a peer group or teaching assistant ready to help out. The professor said that tone from day one.
True, and I noticed alumni generosity. Many return as guest lecturer or mentor, sharing real talk about industry challenges, mental health, and the value persistency.
Yeah, you know, Lucy, one thing I have been curious about, how do CYCU students stay competitive in such a fast-changing finance world?
Oh, very good question,
Mhm.
Avi. I think it's come down to the mindset that CYU encourage. It's all about the continuous learning, staying updated with global trends, and being adaptable. Finance is not a static. What worked 5 years ago might be outdated now.
Yeah, that's very true. And I guess that means being tech savvy is more important than ever, especially with things like AI and big data transforming finance.
Absolutely. CYU curriculum have adapted to include courses on data analysis, financial modeling, and even some coding basics that give students a real edge and they enter the workforce.
Yeah, what's about networking? How important is connection and relationship is in shaping a finance career?
Networking is huge, Avi. CYU encourages students to attend seminar, workshop, and industry conference. Meeting professional alumni and potential employer open door and can lead to mentorship opportunities.
Yeah, it sounds like practical experience. Networking and a strong technical background all come together to prepare CSU finance grades really well.
Yeah, for sure. And let's not forget soft skill, communication, teamwork, problem solving. These are often what help you stand out and succeed once you are on the job.
Yeah, so if you are a student thinking about the future, maybe it's a good idea to start building this skill now, right?
Yes, for sure. And let's not forget soft skill, communication, teamwork, problem solving. These are often what help you stand out and succeed on.
Okay. Yeah, so if you are a student thinking about the future, maybe it's a good idea to start building this skill now, right?
Definitely. Volunteer for project, job, a finance club, seek internship. Every bit of experience counts.
And for those listening who might be worried about finding the perfect job right after graduation,
Yes, I say don't share too much. Career as you need with many stops. Some of the best opportunities come from being open and willing to learn along the way.
yeah, that's reassuring advice. So, in a nutshell, CYCU equipped its finance student with the tools, mindsets, and values to thrive no matter where their path leads.
Yeah, exactly. It's a foundation to build your unique career story, and the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, today, Lucy, I want to dive deeper into the lesson we have learned from our accounting professor here at CSU. It's been eye-opening to see how their expertise shape our understanding beyond just classroom theory.
Absolutely, Avi. One of the first things that struck me was how our professor described accounting as the language of business. They say it's the essential tool that communicates as a company's financial health, not just to manager, but to investor, regulator, and the public.
Right, and they stress the accuracy and transparency are paramount. I remember one professor sharing a story about how even small mistake in financial reporting can lead to big consequences affecting hundreds of people.
That story really highlights the importance of integrity in accounting. Our expert always remind us that accountants hold a lot of responsibility that they just trusted to provide honest, clear, and accurate information.
Yeah, and it's more than just number, isn't it? They also teach us about ethical dilemma and how to navigate those thought solution when business pressure might tempt people to bend the rules.
Exactly. In one lecture, a professor emphasized that ethical accounting is not optional. It's the backbone of sustainable business. Without it, just collapse and markets suffer.
Yeah, another lesson that resonated with me is how dynamic the field of accounting is. Standard change, technology evolve, and cyber risks are becoming a big deal. Our professor encouraged us to stay curious and keep upgrading our skill.
Yes, I appreciate how they integrate technology like accounting software and data analytics into our learning. That hands-on experience prepare us for modern workplace.
Yeah, and they also emphasize the importance of real-world exposure. Internship opportunities, seminar, and case studies bring accounting principle to life and connect us to the industry.
Yeah, totally. Being able to explain complex finance data in plain language is often what makes an accountant truly effective.
So, for students eager to learn from the best, what would you say is the biggest takeaway from our accounting professor?
That accounting is much more than debit and credit. It's about responsibility, trust, continuous learning, and making a real difference in the business world.
Well said, Lucy. The session will carry us far, whether we become auditors, consultants, or entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And Lucy, have you ever wondered what exactly information management is?
Hmm?
I was just listening to a talk by a CYCU expert and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious. I always talk it with us about managing computer data. Is there more to it?
Definitely. According to the expert, information management isn't just about technology. It's about how organizations collect, organize, and use data to make smart decisions. It involves people, process, and strategy.
Yeah, so it's like a mix of IT and business.
Yeah, exactly. The expert emphasized that it's interdisciplinary. It's cover IT system, business goals, and how people communicate and use the information.
Yeah, that makes sense. What were the main lessons shared?
One big lesson was that data itself isn't valuable unless you can turn it into actionable insight. Plus, ethical use of information is crucial, respecting privacy and keeping data accurate.
Yeah, I get with on the data breach their day. That's super important.
Yeah, totally. CSU helps students by combining theory with hands-on project, like working with real companies or database system and business analytics.
Yeah, sound like good experience, huh? Did you say anything about how combination fits in?
Yes, being able to explain complex data clearly to non-technical people is just as important as analyzing it. It's all part of the skill set.
Yeah, so to excel in information management, you need to take skill, business sense, and communication skills.
Yeah, exactly. The expert said the future belongs to those who can integrate all three. Also, they urge students to stay curious, ethical, and always keep learning.
That's great advice. Make the field sound really dynamic and impactful.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm thinking it could be a great path for people interested in both technology and business.
Thanks for sharing, Avi. I'm definitely going to look more into this.
Yeah, as we wrap up, what stands out to me is how CYC professor tie everything together. It's not just about preparing us for exam, though that important, but about challenging us to think, care, and act with integrity in any business environment.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for listening to CYCU Inside. We will be back soon with more story from campus, interview with us inspiring professor and alumni, and practical tips for your own educational journey. Until next time, keep learning, staying curious, and know that your story at CYCU or beyond is the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.